Good evening, and we are so glad to have you join us for our show. We have an exciting show for you this evening, probably one that you're going to be talking about forever and ever. I have a wonderful guest, but we're going to be talking about aviation. So all you aviation guys that really like anything about aviation and drones and all that stuff, hey, you're really going to be interested in this show. My guest tonight is somebody who's going to tell us a lot about aviation, and his name is Riza Karamuz.
That's it.
And that's the guy. I want to say thanks for coming. I've invited him. I invited him a long time ago to come to the show, but he is so busy with so many different things, and you're going to see a lot of this. So again, when we put up information for contact information, if you have any information, be sure to call him and ask him about it. If you're interested in joining some of the things that he wants to show us, and I know you're going to be interested. So the first thing we want to do is, I want to just turn it over to you and say, what do you want them to see first?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, hey, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, so I was wondering if my drive from Las Vegas to Pahrump was going to be interrupted with like road closures. It wasn't. I got all the green lights, so I came straight through.
Oh, fantastic.
So yeah, it was fantastic. But so I do some different things. I head a couple of nonprofits. I head up the Nevada Business Aviation Association.
Okay.
And that's it's a nonprofit. We cover the whole state. We have three major initiatives. One is to bring STEM education to Nevada schools.
STEM education.
So that's science, technology, engineering, math.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've done pretty well with that. We also, our second initiative is to make Nevada as a state more business competitive in our environment in aviation, aerospace, and drones. And we've done a pretty good job with that, with our working with our stakeholders across the state.
Now, Riz, I have to ask, I know you're in Clark County a lot and you're in the rest of the state. How about Nye County and Pahrump?
We like Nye County and Pahrump. Nye County is America's third biggest county by area coverage.
Absolutely.
We got the airport in Tonopah was, as you know, an important airport back in the day for our military. A lot of things were done there, some secret, some very secret, I guess. And so we have some really cool assets all across the state. Nye County has a lot of interesting history when it comes to military and testing.
I just want the people out here to know that you're working in all these areas and you'd like to bring more out here as long as we're ready for it.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think that our state is moving along pretty well.
Okay.
It's moving along real well. And when it comes to aviation, aerospace, and drones. In 2013, December 30th of 2013, state of Nevada was designated by the FAA as one of the UAS test sites. UAS is Unmanned Aerial Systems.
Okay.
Unmanned Aerial Systems just means a drone, an unmanned aerial vehicle with all the stuff that you need to fly it, so the control unit and all the other things that go into it. So that's UAS, Unmanned Aerial Systems. We were at one of the test sites that were designated, one of the six that were designated that day. What's interesting about Nevada is that our whole state was designated as a test site.
Oh, fantastic.
The other five are connected to some research institution, you know, Virginia Tech or some other school in those states. So, you know, New York, Texas, Virginia, and that sort of thing. But here in Nevada, it's the whole state. So we have a Nevada state office, a nonprofit, it's a state organization called NIAS, the Nevada Institute of Autonomous Systems, that manages our different test site programs and coordinates companies, organizations, NASA, and they partner with different organizations, both public and private, to come in and do testing here.
Okay.
Consequently, we've done a lot of cool testing as a first time to test different things here in Nevada. So, not just for Nevada the first time, first time in America to do, certain types of testing using.
And we're doing that in Nevada.
And we're doing it right here in Nevada.
Beautiful.
So it's fantastic.
Okay.
So number one was bringing STEM education to our schools across Nevada.
Okay.
Number two was making Nevada more competitive when we look at surrounding states and beyond when it comes to aviation, aerospace, and drones, how to become more competitive.
Okay.
How do we make it more appealing for companies to come to our state and the ones that are here to grow? So how do we do that? Okay. And those are discussions that we have all the time. And the third initiative, is to help improve our rural airport infrastructure. So when you think rural airports, we're thinking Nye County airports and other counties.
Okay.
So we have 17 counties, and we have 49 public use airports across the state. And some of our smaller airports and smaller communities need to improve their infrastructure. Okay. So lengthen the runway, widen it, pave it, put lights on it, different things to make it more operable, more useful. And so, we have that was a conversation I just had, last week on a call that we have with our committee. That these are some of the discussions we take up about the airport. So that kind of gives you a little bit of kind of an insight as to what Nevada Business Aviation Association does.
And we need to know that. Okay.
Yeah. I also head up the Nevada chapter of Aerospace States Association. So
wearing a lot of hats here.
I do. Different days, different hats. Sometimes switching hats. So, but there's a lot of commonality. Okay. So with the Aerospace States Association, it's a national program. About 10 or 12 states have a chapter. We're one of the early chapters in ASA. The Lieutenant Governor is my honorary chair, and you hear it first. In a few days, I'll be meeting with our Lieutenant Governor-elect to invite her to be my next honorary chair. So don't let anyone know. I want her to be surprised. No, I'm kidding. So anyway, but with that, what we try to do is bring aerospace manufacturing to the state. Okay. And with it comes aerospace manufacturing, jobs and infrastructure and investment and other things. So that's something that we're hoping in the years to come, we kind of have a groundswell of activity around aerospace, aviation, drones, and we're, as a state, as Nevada, we're sort of in the conversation when people think about, where am I going to take my aerospace manufacturing investment dollars? I'm going to come here. So what I'd like to do is, we're big on education. I'm an engineer, so I love building things and making things, and also I love inspiring youth to get into engineering.
And that's the real reason I wanted him here, is because he's talking about things for youth. And as a high school and middle school principal and all the other things I've done in education, I'm looking at what we can do for our youth, and this is inspiring. Well, so go ahead.
All right, so here's what we're going to do.
Yes.
Instead of me talking, today you're going to be entertained because I got a lot of videos, so less of me talking, more of the videos. They say a picture tells 1,000 words or whatever. These videos hopefully do a good job of that. So we're going to watch our first video, and this is about a program. So we brought an aviation after-school program, I guess it was about 5-6 years ago, to a school in Las Vegas, and where my wife at the time was a teacher, math teacher. And we entered that aviation after-school program. We entered the students from that into a National Aviation Design Challenge put on by GAMA. GAMA is the General Aviation Manufacturers Association. And it's the most difficult type of challenge of its type. You actually have to redesign an airplane using engineering software, and then fly it for a specific mission, and then achieve the highest score and accompany that with some other materials, send it off to DC, where they analyze all this and compare it to all the other schools that did the entries, and then they choose who the winner is. And I'm not going to say anything more, but let's go ahead and watch that first video.
That first one is fantastic.
The schools used a complementary Learn to Fly curricula to explore fundamentals in aerospace engineering and flight, and they used software provided by X-Plane to apply what they learned by designing and flying their own virtual airplane. They start with Glass Air Sportsman, and they modify the airplanes with the idea of developing a product that can fly from one airport to another, and they're scored on how much payload they can carry for the fuel burn and flight time.
We saw a lot of innovation in the designs. Kids are promising future engineers and fabricators. And they tried very small aircraft, very fuel-efficient aircraft that could carry or designed to carry enormous payload. And we took into consideration design features based on what the students learn in their curriculum and scoring from the software in terms of design efficiency and against the design factors that we set out for them to meet. And the winning school set out to make a sportsman carry 9,000 pounds of payload. And they didn't quite make it to 9,000 pounds, but they were close enough to be impressive. They were actually able to redesign the lifting surfaces and control surfaces to carry over 7,000 pounds by smartly staying in ground effect, which I think is a little impractical, but clever nonetheless. As part of the competition, the schools were also required to write a one-page essay describing what they learned in the competition. And the winning school said, "We will always remember this amazing experience," and some of us are already thinking about becoming pilots and engineers, which is precisely the goal. I'm very pleased to announce that the winner of the 2014 Gamma Build Plane Aviation Design Challenge is the Formula X team.
Now, how was that? That is fantastic. When you think about all the congratulations, all the hard work that went into that, and I know you're beaming every time you see this. But I want you to come back and join us in the next sessions. We've got more information for you.